If we go back to 1997, so again, the rules were, I mean, they were bent not in human favor because IBM was a player, the organizer. I mean, they control everything. Just you don't have to to take my word. You just read what Miguel Alescas wrote in his book and how they even replaced the guard, next to my green room by having somebody who spoke Russian to over just to basically to understand what were the remarks with me and Yuri Dokoya. I'm afraid I could be very little help about Rematch because so far I couldn't force myself watching it. It's a bit painful. Yeah, eventually I will, but it's quite an undertaking because yeah, I'm sure it's fine. So it's not no, it's not that I'm still just feeling the pain of what's happened in 1997. I do many speeches, and I always say that what I believe was a curse in '97, I believe it was a blessing because I was part of something really unique. Yeah, and it was an inspiring moment for computer science. Again, being part of that is great. Also, it helped me to understand better that the competition between human machines would be over soon and time to look for collaboration. But to watch this in details, and it's the all the characters. It's yeah, I will, but yeah, I need a bit more time to actually to get online with it. It is a key move, and it's again what they IBM failed to actually explain how it's happened because again it's not yeah I agree. This move it's not one that it's I mean it's totally out of touch with machine's depths, but the fact is that it was just I think it was 14 minutes, and again there was some what they showed there was some interesting drop in evaluation because from machine they said, oh, I remember the explanation is machine because machine could have won 3 points, basically, or 2 3 points. They said, but then black could have serious counterplay, and I remember that's when I was asking these questions, and the response came, yeah, but it was too dangerous. I said, too dangerous is human evaluation. So it's if you have plus 3 points, 300, can you show me because I think if I remember correctly, Bishop before gave by machine's evaluation plus 51. I said, can you show me minus 250 against 3 points? Clearly show me minus 250. They never did it. So that was a problem that again I couldn't push it away from my mind because again I was it's taking away all humans. And then when I was told that at the end machine missed it's a perpetual. How the same machine, that basically avoided this, missed the perpetual. So again, I don't know what under the bridge. I say they. I say they say, but it will be more entertaining. Again, actually they had the machine. They had the Broadway play. I'm not sure, and I think it's probably a British play, but it was here. Again, my wife watched it, so I didn't. I didn't go. Just same problem. Yeah, because it was me, and it was very very close. It had my mother there, so it's the yeah. Again, memories of the past. It's sometimes we got a little trouble, psychological trouble to deal with it. It's yeah, but I will. It's because it's not documentary. It's actually more entertaining because this is yeah. People tend to believe movies more than documentaries. Ironic. No, 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 no. Actually, it happened more than once. It happened more than once. No, no, no. This is no, actually one of the biggest challenges. So during this match, and I guess I take it it's a personal fault. I mean, I had to be more persistent after the first match because it happened in the first match as well. I remember Game 4, for instance, and I didn't like it because the I'm sure audience now is well acquainted with machines, but the moment machine crashed, it's over. I mean, it should be over. Technically, the game should be over because it's like a heart attack. What comes next is a new game from machine perspective. So it's guys, this is you can control the machine fine because when they restart whatever they do, you cannot control. So that it's a different ball game. We don't know, but it's psychologically it's very unpleasant because what again I already buried this, buried the hatchet, so I had the many events with IBM. So we just we smoked the pipe of peace, as at several occasions. It's But again, if we go back to 1997, so again the rules were, I mean, they were bent not in human favor, because IBM was a player, the organizer. I mean, they control everything. Just you don't have to to take my word. You just read what Miguel Alescas wrote in his book, and how they even replaced the guard next to my green room by having somebody who spoke Russian to over just to basically to understand what were the remarks between me and Yuri Dokoyan. Then also they had a terminal in the playing. Basically, just one was there, another one was just across the street, and the third one was in Yorktown Heights. There were definitely two, probably three terminals, and while Ken Thompson was watching, as he did in 1996, so technically there was the watching eye, watchful eye, but even expert of that caliber cannot do anything if machine is crushed, because it says yes, so this is crushed and it comes back. I think it happened a couple of times in the match. That's simply not true. That's not what's happened. It's about the way I always approach this human machine competition, because for me it was a great scientific experiment of the end of the 20th century. It goes all the way back to late 80s, when I just played Deep Thought. This is the prototype of the Blue in New York. So again, it's just many people thought, oh, how could you accept it, because it's risky for the world champion. 1989. So we played two games in New York. I won both games quite handily. What's happened after these two games? I went to talk to these guys. I mean, you can ask Mauro Campbell, for instance. I always advise them. That's what by the way, what I did after 1996 match. I went to Yorktown Heights. So as they invited me, I went to Yorktown Heights. I did a lecture about the match. It's kind of my impressions, and then we sat, and it was talked about the match with a team, and they had all IBM labs. I think it's three or four labs around the world, joined. This is just like a big presentation for IBM. And then I met IBM management, top management. At the time, we lost our contract with Intel, so and it's the and I wanted to recover the Grand Chess Tour, Grand Prix, so the Rapid Chess Grand Prix, yeah. And I suggested that we work together, so I'll be delighted to play the rematch, and I would like them to replace Intel, and they said yes. By the way, but that's what's happened, is because it's two different departments. Basically, this is and again my fault. So this is it was not done properly. There was no kind of a glue to put these two together, and eventually they dropped the sponsorship, and I ended up only with this match, but not that no, there was not a single moment where I was hesitant, because for me it was very important move forward. And of course, I could be more watchful when just I looked at the contract, because one of the things that I insisted is that I would have the access to the games of the Blue, not to have the same guessing contest as in Philadelphia. And they said absolutely, but again, it's you always read the fine print. So on the bottom of the page, it's while they said yes, can have access to the Blue games, but only the games played in official competitions are official. So, and of course they have not played a single game outside of the lab. So basically, they it's when I just realized that they've changed the contractual obligations, and I ended up with a contract that, well, actually was almost the same as in Philadelphia. Though of course they were much better prepared, and again they have more time to improve the machine, and still the machine was the way they could go through the match almost uncontrolled. So that's, yeah, professionally that was very stupid of me. No, again, I talked to him, I talked to the team. So again, after the first match, I was happy to share my impressions, because again, for me it was an experiment. It was a very important experiment. So and I just wanted to learn more about it, because I think it could give us some just a very important information. about the differences in decision making between humans and machines. So and I was open, just to talk about it. So obviously, again, it was not very professional because I had to compete, and they used, I'm sure, some of my advices. Um, but as for the conflict within IBM, I don't know. So I think if they wanted to continue the experiment, and I think they can kind of some moral obligations, they could have done it because it was 1-1. So I won the first match, I lost the second match, and it could be a rubber match. I put my offer on the table. I spoke even to Lubirster, and they turned it down because they realized that from the business perspectives they couldn't gain anything. I think I was, again, it's clear I was a better player at the time, so I would have probably win the rematch. But they, from their perspective, even a draw would be disaster because they gained it. They won the Saint Grail of computer science, beating world champion. They just retired the blue, and it was over. I think more could be learned because at that time we still in the process where humans could compete. And you remember, I played two matches with Deep Junior and Deep Fritz, and they are in 2003 they were not inferior to Deep Blue. So and both matches ended as a tie. And Kramnik played matches. I think he one was draw, one he lost. So only by 2005, 2006 the competition was over. But in 99, 2000 there could be a lot of interesting things to discover. And again, somehow this is the what you described is it was true. Though I cannot recall exact details, but I was very open from the very beginning to talk to IBM about my feelings and how we just how we could continue just making this experiment that could benefit both humans, the game of chess, and also the computer science. Oh no, this is no doubt about it. By the way, you look at the quality of the games. You can put it on the engine, and it will start showing you that the many mistakes were done on both sides. But again, one of the mistakes made just before the match was agreeing with the schedule. So we played two games in a row, a rest day, two games in a row, two rest days, and two games in a row. I had to play. Just I needed an extra day between the games. So if after game five I had a rest day, I think the game six would be different. So because it's difficult to recover. So it's huge pressure. And also yeah, I after game two I my mind was haunted by what's happened there, by this very mysterious moment. Why, yes, but why is the bug again? It says it's the so it's I actually I resigned. I instantly resigned. So even because I didn't want in a human game I would have played Queen E3, but in machine I said that's of course he can't miss it. And then I was told wait, he did miss something. And then I had, by the way, I had a firm initiative. In the next three games I was pushing. So this is it's the but it's winning the game. It's quite challenging, and the game five was also very. I mean, for me, game four actually, I actually probably the best game of the match was game four, cleanest game. So it's a very good pawn sacrifice, and machine defended well. So I think by the professional standards, that was probably the best game in the match. And the game five was again when machine played h5, I got really confused. I mean, the opening it doesn't play h5. So this is what's the now I know I missed win. I missed win, but it's I missed win. Machine missed the draw. I missed win. So this is the Stockfish or just any other engine will show you that everything that has been was trumpeted by the commentators. Phenomenal, great. Garry made the move. It's all actually nonsense because we played very poorly both in the end and Deep Blue. I could have done things, by playing, other openings, but I already had some ideas what to play. So that's just, yeah. But there was no time to regroup. So obviously I would have avoided sharp Sicilians because this is not what you. But there are many other things you could have done in Rui Lopez. Ironically, actually, this is only two games I lost where I played the quote unquote normal openings, and it's the what's happened in game six is I don't know why I did it. I just, I believed it would never take on e6. But then again, then we come back to the same issue, Ileska's book, when he said that Benjamin told him to analyze this game, I mean, this position in the morning of the game. I mean, yeah, wait. I never played it in my life. Never played it in my life. So why on earth, you analyze this position? I mean, unless you have some kind of, prescience. Yeah. So just about what I'm going to choose. I don't recall exact name, but it's the Fred Friedel. Actually, he was he gave me a few advices, not most helpful, and this was one of them. So that's why it's just this. I remember actually this is something that we saw, and naturally this is the this one of the positions that happened. So that's it's h6 knight goes back on e4. So that's something I saw there. Even today, I don't understand why I played it because even if it went on e4, I don't understand why I just wanted to choose this. So I just had to play some kind of I probably had to stick what worked. I play again g6 d6 and by the way, Ileska said that they had a strict order to offer a draw at move 20. So Benjamin never refuted this one. So that's the yeah. It's just because they wanted to avoid the game five fiasco in Philadelphia when they refused. I offered a draw at game five. They turned it down and then they lost. It was equal position. So again the choice of the opening was very poor, but I think psychologically I was already crushed. So I was too, again I needed one extra day. Probably I would have think clearly, but after all these emotions, game five, tough game. It ends in at the it's late, and then you go to the stage, and it's people. I mean, everybody's just shouting, "Oh, great!" This. And look, it's even with my ability to withstand the pressure, it probably was too much. In the Soviet Union, it was a system that I had to fight. IBM was also a system, and naturally, for IBM it was more about business. Yeah, it was science, but not chess, as I already mentioned, the parallel processors. But otherwise, it was the big coup. I mean, I think IBM shares rose 22% in 2 weeks, and even more important, I think it got its reputation. It's as the sort of cutting edge technology company. So it was a massive victory, and of course for them doing well in this match, that was at the time the most publicized match in the world because actually what's happened it's in Philadelphia because Philadelphia it was not even IBM as an organizer. They had this one of their ACM computer manufacturers. Yeah, Association of Computer Manufacturers, um, and then the game one that I lost. So I mean, broke all the records. I think there's some kind of phenomenal numbers of people following the internet, and then just for them it was like a wake up call. Wow, this is for a relatively small amount of money we can get phenomenal publicity. So that's on 1997. There was already IBM PR machine already working on it. So it was a system, and uh, you know, with Karpov, I had time, just to recover. So it's this long, unlimited match. Here, just again, I didn't even have a day in between game five and game six, just to give me time to just to sleep, just to clear my mind. It's because it's very emotional. I mean, you are defending the humanity. Remember, this is the cover of Newsweek, the brain's last stand, and then it's the reports on cable news. So this is this humanity versus AI. Nobody mentioned AI. It was more like the computers. Now they talk about there's a dawn of AI, which I always say it's nonsense because Deep Blue was as intelligent as your alarm clock. I mean, it was not about intelligence; it's a massive brute force. Okay, as we know that according to Claude Shannon, the number of all the moves it's 10 power 120, and the number of legal positions is still has this number contains 46 zeros legal position. That's pretty big number. I mean, it's not about machines ever being able to solve it, but it's simply because machine making fewer mistakes and avoiding fewer mistakes. And that's the difference. This is it's the you can't say that there's the all this the Alpha Zero, but even just the Stockfish or other programs, they are just they understand chess better than Magnus Carlsen, but the gap is still what 600 points. Well, just when you look at this 3,400 versus 2,800, 2,850. So, but it's um, but it's simply because the number of mistakes they make is just it's minimal compared to humans, and to win the game against the machine. I mean, you can survive, but winning the game, it's the level of precision that is required to win the game against a computer is unheard for humans because we're always making inaccuracies. That's the way we play. So with machine, the even the smallest slip, just from the main road, and either you're dead, or you can miss a win that could be reached, if you just look, deep deep and calculate everything, with again unheard precision for human chess. The one thing that's actually it's brought to my attention is my old friend Elmar Magiramov, who now just I met a few times in Dubai where he lives, and we just started in the 70s in Baku, so all was friends. He just told me about 15 years ago or whatever, maybe 10, just a long time, maybe 10, a long time ago. He brought my attention to the seven pieces databases. I remember the position that is that's he threw at me. So it had king, two rooks, knight versus king and two rooks, seven pieces, and it said something like mate in 510 moves or whatever. The insane number. I mean, this is and of course, this is the when you look at this sequence of 500 moves, the first 450 moves, you can hardly understand what's happened because for even for my eyes, it was just like like never-ending dance, kind of a tango around the board. And then you just now I could see it's just kind of the framework, what's going on, and and the question that Elmar asked is that's still bothering me. Is said Gary, if you have seven pieces position, and by the best play, it ends up with checkmate in 500 plus moves, and the opening position in chess is ultimate endgame with 32 pieces. And average duration of the human chess is under 50 moves. Doesn't give you an idea what kind of chess we're playing, what kind of quality of chess if you start judging it by the highest standards. So. Oh yeah, no, it's amazing, but it's I always enjoy when we play this 960. So this sometimes there's at move two already. Then you say, oh, that's already black is already better. This is just it's already better. So it's always interesting because we thought for a moment that again I definitely thought for a moment that with 960 we would have some kind of an edge. To the contrary, it's much worse because because the machine doesn't care. Again, machine doesn't care about the geometry. So, but human eye was so much trained. Okay, you work with patterns, and of course you start playing chess and you learn that after e4 e5 f7 is the weakest. So this is f7 f2. So I mean exactly where pieces can go, how they can harm you, and then everything changes, and and even if you play the same position, it's still very difficult to recall, because it's even small change, just to reshuffle one piece or the two pieces, it could actually change the geometry. Machine picks it up instantly. I think anything that helps a game to be promoted, it has my full support. So 960 is a way forward, because again people want to see just some freshness, and that's there's a problem now with classical chess. So under no circumstance I'm trying to tell you that the game must be abolished for me, because classical chess is like opera. It's probably 0.1% of all the music in the world, but you need this to be preserved. But now we saw the development. So the main trend is because of the computers, professionals. With very few exceptions, They try to avoid sharpest lines. That's why you have deviations in the opening. So many these Berlins take on c6. The fixed pawn structures where the machine preparation doesn't play a role. When you move to the Sicilian, I mean, this I think only MVL I think just keeps this keeps face in neither, but still it's even there. It's more like this is 6h3 or just this is they if it's I think that this classical chess must be preserved and it has to keep its place, but we just have to be creative. It's again following to what you described in your book. So, but chess revolutions. My apology again. So, it's the strengths of the game or its unique ability to adjust. So basically, to always, just to follow the kind of trends in the society, like this shifting to the queen. Queen is powerful. The Queen Isabel. So all of a sudden, the queen becomes powerful. Yeah, it's something that I described in I think volume 1 of my great predecessors. That you can always see that chess moved alongside with the global development, scientific, social development, and now again, it's speed, it's speed, and also again it's variety. So that's exactly what rapid chess in 960 offers, and again, it brings more people in. I think it's something that we just have to support and enjoy. And again, I'm always watching the tournaments where Magnus is playing. So when I just have a time, just can look at it. So it's you may consider I'm probably the strongest kibitzer in the world. So, yeah.